Good afternoon, all, on this Monday, 27th. We may have a short one today just because I'm not feeling too well. It happens, right? Yesterday we did like, oh, good Lord, 3 hours, 4 hours. I forget what it was. Today we might do just over uh, 20 minutes, maybe a little over that. Let's start this going a lot more. Um, yeah. So, how is everyone? I hope everyone is. Excuse me. Excuse me. I hope everyone is fine. Uh, yeah. Ooh, I'm always leaning out of frame. R. Kelly found guilty on all counts. Here's the thing. I heard everybody showed up and had a story about abuse. And I was like, God Lord, man, because I've been here with you guys, like, crime me, give the deuce. I'm like, where's the evidence? It just can't be ex-girlfriend saying mean shit, right? Ex-employer saying mean shit. But they did say that they played a tape of him forcing a girl to give another dude a BJ. That right there. And why isn't the other guy charged? Right? That's the only, and they said they played it in court. That's actual evidence of fucking ridiculousness. So yeah, on that alone by R. Kelly. But to have like all these people cruise on in and say, "Oh, he smacked me around on the moon," and not have evidence, it just kind of like, America's court system is just a mess. What up, William? I hope all things go well for you this Monday. So yeah, that's the end of R. Kelly. I feel once again, I feel vindicated. I have not played that music in my car for like 15 years, right? Long before they stopped putting it on the radio. I was like, who supports this shit? You know who supports this shit? Everybody in the black community. I was like, what? And now everybody's like, R. Kelly. Like, but you were listening to him just not that long ago. Yeah, he's not the only one. I also give a thumbs down to Jay Z. I'm waiting for his karma to even out. It's completely dumbfounding that NBC would boot Al Michaels from Sunday Night Football. Ugh, yeah, that is stupid. There's not really a lot going on. Well, there's a lot going on. There's not really a lot that I care to talk about. Biden gets a booster shot. So ridiculous. We got pandemic issues. We've got border issues. We've got bank issues. Did I ever run into Jay Z in New York? No. Totally different circles, man. uh, yeah, totally different circles. He hangs out with the millionaire set. He goes places where I don't go, and he does not ever return to those places that he's always rapping about, like Marcy Projects, which I used to go to all the time. No, you know, my affair with JFK, former aide Diana DeVague comes forward for the first time with her hard truths to tell. So now she's going to tell about an affair with JFK, and people are going to listen up and laugh it up and ooh. At the end of the day, you're sleeping with people at work, you freaking ridiculous person. And why are you making this great? Because some 16-year-old, 17-year-old, 18-year-old young woman is gonna think, oh wow, ooh, this is fun. Look at the way they glorify this up. And then in 5 or 10 years or whatever, she's gonna be in bed with her boss, and you're gonna be sitting there telling her how she's the victim of workplace, whatever. You know, if it's bad, don't sing a song. Well, not sing a song about it. You know, don't. I'm talking about the media. The media shouldn't big it up like it always does, and then all of a sudden, shocked. But America does this, right? Uh, we sell cars speeding through the street. All these commercials are these fast moving speeding cars, and in the bottom it says, closed course. You can't buy a car and drive fast anywhere, right? I mean, everything is selling you. People are unhappy one minute, then you give them a pill and they're strutting through the park. with a dog and waving at friends that people don't have. Uh, it was a while ago, man. A very long time ago. It was a million years ago, quite frankly. Uh, it feels like a million years ago. Here's the thing about leaving. Fact check: the Republican claimed U.S. withdrawal left 33 Black Hawk helicopters for the Taliban. So even if that's true, you're going to use it as a political talking point and not use it to punish who would ever have left those things, because you know what's going to get them. The Taliban can't fly them; they'll just give them to the Russians or the Chinese, right? And they'll back what do they call it? Reverse engineer them. But the fact that the Republicans are like, it's just it's the whole thing is unseemly. I mean, it doesn't give me confidence in any of them. Jump humping? What the hell is jump humping? Jump humping TikTok teaches the world about Mormon sex. Why do I need to know about Mormon sex? What is jump humping? And how much can you teach me in a TikTok video? I am obviously getting very old because I don't know what the hell is going on anymore. Woman charged with starting California fawn fire while trying to boil water. There's your problem. She's not even an arsonist. She's just trying to boil water. Those other dudes said it. Oh this is not going to be. Are we going to be able to read this? No, we're not going to be able to read this, are we? Oh yeah, we are. Black leaders are outraged with Biden. White House scrambles after Haitian deportations and failures on police reform, voting rights. Why the black people pissed off about the Haitians? Because they're black like me, and we'd have to what? Well, they're not. No, see, this is a. Uh, there is no. I said this before. There is no civil rights movement anymore. People are pandering, but nothing gets done, and this story is part of it. So now the black leaders are pissed off. You have been doing shit forever. Now all of a sudden you're trying to go. We were making moves, but the president's in the way. You voted him into office. At the very minimum, you're weak and stupid for voting for him. At the very minimum, that in itself says that you shouldn't be in charge of leading anything anywhere. How am I wrong? Yeah, it's the whole thing is just freaking goofy. Do I need something? I feel so bad. Uh, ice cold water. One of the favorite things. Ugh. All right. Do we want to look this up? I'll read it on my phone. We want to look it up. See if we can look it up. When sunset?
Sunset will be at 6:53 p.m. today.
Wow, sunset's in like 10 minutes. Days are getting shorter. What does this song say? Your memory is getting long and your days are getting shorter. Uh, you helping the Haitians don't help me. The Haitians aren't American. They're not black. They're Haitians. Their government should help them. Black leaders are pissed off about the Haitians. This just tells me you don't fucking stand for anything. This was 3 days ago. I'm surprised I didn't see it. Black Democrats outraged. This guy isn't even an elected official. He's a black lawyer who's I don't know who any of these people are. Black leaders. Who are these people? Yeah, he's a lawyer who represents people killed by the cops. She's, I think, Cori Bush, the homeless congressman who got elected. Who the rest of everybody else? All right, fine. You should be able to caption. Outrage Black Biden, civil rights attorney. Civil rights attorney. Okay, I guess that's a thing. That's an attorney. A member of the George Floyd family speak at a speak to press after meeting with Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris at the White House on May 25th, 2021, where nothing happened. Photo. Oh, good Lord, I closed it by accident. Photo op. All right. Oh my goodness. This is the Washington Post. Which one is this? Black leaders are outraged with Biden. So this is not the one I looked up, but this is the second one. Which one is it? When was this? September 24th. This was written 4 days ago. The other one, let's use the exact title. Huh. That's amazing. February 2020. That's amazing. This can't be recent. This is the one I'm looking for. And this is not the one I'm looking for. Oh, well. That's amazing. We just looked it up and got a totally different story from both. The other one was the Washington Post, too. It just had a totally different facing black leaders anger. Biden condemns treatment of Haitians. The fuck does the Haitians have to? Man, there are no black leaders anymore. This civil rights shit is over. You know, I mean, just because there are black people involved, it doesn't mean it's a. Oh boy, oh boy. You just have an opinion about freaking stuff, and that's the problem. President Biden's relationship with black leaders and activists, September 24, 2021. President Biden's relationship with black leaders and activists has rapidly deteriorated, as many have condemned his treatment of Haitian migrants and grown angry with his failure to overhaul policing and enact sweeping laws protecting voters' rights. Yeah, again, I fucking told you this when he was running, and everybody was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, he's full of shit. He's got a history that says he's full of shit. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And everybody got on board. So I mean, I don't even know why. If I can outthink you on this, and I'm not a civil rights leader, why am I looking to you for any leadership at all? Answer me that. Uh whew. Give me a sec. I gotta blow my honker. Whew. I try to fill that water up. Ooh. Ooh. That's better. All right. Ugh. Let's put this. Good Lord. All right. I'm gonna get some more water as well. All right, we're gonna read this. Hold on. I did leave the top in here. All right. We've got replenished ice cubes and ice cold water. So let's see what we get. That's just about enough to fill it. Sweet. Yep. Perfect. All right. Oh, we should put this up. Good enough. Good enough. All right. President Biden's relationship with Black leaders and activists has rapidly deteriorated, as many have condemned his treatment of Haitian migrants and grown angry with his failures to overhaul policing and enact sweeping laws protecting voting rights. Yeah, if you can't even look after your number one constituency, which votes for you 99% of the time, which vote 100% of the time rather, with like 97% of the population, you need to do something for them, or they should just kind of tell you to go kick rocks. Partly as a response, Biden, in his first detailed public comments on the treatment of Haitians at the border, I don't care about Haitians at the border, sought Friday to take some responsibility. He said there would be consequences for Border Patrol agents who treated migrants roughly. Or, really, consequences? Anybody getting fired? I don't think so. Somebody's going to get a 2-week vacation, a 2-week suspension, and a word in their file. And so what, quite frankly? And then it'll be expunged from their file in like 2 years. So Biden is just, as always, Biden is full of shit. He said there will be consequences for Border Patrol agents who treated migrants roughly and denounced their behavior as dangerous and wrong. Oh. Of course, I take responsibility. I'm president, he said. I promise you those people will pay. Pay what? How? 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 Tell me how. He always just says shit. They're going to pay. I mean, I'm going to fire them. Say something. Say what happened to them? It's been a few days now. I mean, man, boy, the whole thing is ridiculous. White House officials are scrambling to try to repair the damaged relationship with Black leaders holding private meetings. I don't know how the fuck that helps me either. Holding private meetings with them that they hope will smooth relations. Black voters were a cornerstone of the coalition that powered Biden to Democratic nomination and the White House last year. And they expected and again, the midterms are next year. Your vice president's ratings are in their mid 40s and yours are in their high 40s, right? They're both on the water. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Come and get every black dude a pony? I mean, all right, holding a pride meeting with them and their hope for smooth relations. Black voters were a cornerstone of the coalition that helped power Biden to the Democratic nomination and the White House last year, and they're expected to play a crucial role in next year's midterm election. Outrage among Black leaders about Biden's reaches new heights this week, creating fissures with potentially far-reaching implications. Biden's deportation of Black Haitians seeking asylum at the southern border, while images and there's a white Border Patrol's agent stabbing, sweet Jesus, grabbing and shouting at them went viral. Just sharp rebukes from normally supported Black allies. The official collapse of policing negotiations on Capitol Hill. We talked about that last week, and the ineffectiveness of the Democratic Party, right? Negotiations on Capitol Hill this week. Also, the official collapse of policing negotiations on Capitol Hill this week. Also, but this week also all but extinguished them hopes of ushering in new laws the year after George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police officers. Should be an S on that. murdered by a police, Minneapolis police officer, murdered by several Miami police officers is more accurate. And lingering uncertainty over the fate of long shot push to expand voting rights has created growing anxiety about the future. No, the future is you won't. Here's the picture that was up there just a minute ago. He said on election night, Black Americans, you have my back, I'll have your back. More empty fucking talk. Civil rights activist Al Sharpton saying that the fuck Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton saying that, oh my God, you guys are triggering me. Oh, he was going to take Trump out behind the, yeah, to do what? To bleed all over Trump's shoes? Trump would have kicked his ass. I really do believe that. He was going to, it's all this wild bad boy talk he's always doing. He'd be the first dude smacked around. He probably, I've got pretty high odds on it. Yeah, the Congress is just a place where old rich lawyers go to die. He said on election night, you have my back, I'll have you. A civil rights activist, Al Sharpton, said in a Thursday phone call, well, we're being stabbed in the back, Mr. President. You need to stop the stabbing. From Haiti to Harlem. What the fuck does the Haitians have to do with Black people? This is about, oh my God, see? If you just go, every brown face is Black, then you do this shit for everybody. And then you can pick and choose who's Black, right? Kamala Harris is not Black no matter what she says. All these Black people, Africans getting off a plane from England, right? Just because they land here are not Black. And this is part of the problem. Just because you're Asian doesn't mean you're Chinese. Doesn't mean you're Korean, right? Doesn't mean you're into these other myriad of Asian cultures. Japanese, Korean, Thai, right? All these things. But apparently once you get here, Black is just Black and you're grist for the mill. Yeah. So he's calling Biden to stop deporting Haitian migrants under a public health order and urge the Senate to work around the filibuster to pass a voting law. Here's the thing. They should be deported. They shouldn't be here. Period. He should have dealt with, and it is a public health crisis because we said yesterday, do you even know if any of them are vaccinated the way we Americans are vaccinated, right? I mean, they're not in the same country. They could have used maybe a superior or likely inferior, or maybe no one's got vaccinated at all. And I'm not just talking about the pandemic. I'm also talking about the measles and mumps and rubella, right? All these things that you have here in the West, in a first world nation. Stop deporting Haitians under public health order. So don't deport them because it's bad for public health. That doesn't make any sense. And urge the Senate to work around the filibuster to pass a voting right. Well, that we should have had that a 1,000 years ago. It's voting rights. Why are we still arguing about it? And if look, we mostly vote for you. If you don't protect the voting rights, nobody's going to be voting for you, you dumbass. It's like Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton just pissed on Black men and then cried about nobody voting for her, right? They didn't come out for me like they came out for Obama. Yeah, you got a long history of being sort of like dark to the community. And people were shocked. Were they really? Were they really, really shocked? Let's tilt this up so my head doesn't get the Chiron. Better. All right. Biden has won plaudits from Black leaders of historical investment to combat poverty. What is this historic investment? Here's a word we like. What is plaudits? Plaudit.
Plaudit.
Plaudit. An expression of praise or approval. All right, guys, thank you. What is this historic investment to combat poverty? What is this? Because I follow a lot of shit and I have not heard about it. Oh, child tax credit. 8 minutes ago. The Biden administration Thursday began the biggest anti-poverty program undertaken by the federal government in more than half a century, delivering monthly payments to the overwhelming majority of American parents for the first time. So now America's thing seems to be give people. Bush did it, give people money, right? Trump did it, give people money. Now Biden is doing it, give people money. But you don't really have any solutions. Nobody's going to turn down a check from the government, but you don't really have any solutions. And it's give you back your money. You pay too much in taxes anyway. Well, the average working person does. The rich don't pay fucking shit. So this whole thing, this whole American experiment is about to come off the rails. It really is. Um, in the African American communities through a sweeping pandemic relief bill, he has been Biden has been applauded for historic investment to combat poverty in the African American community through sweeping pandemic relief bills. It's a pandemic relief bill, though. And he has been praised for staffing a diverse government. So what? Here's the thing about your diverse fucking government. If everybody thinks exactly like you do, I don't care what they look like. I don't. If they all say black people are lazy, and you have blacks and whites and Spanish and Latinos and Orientals and Asian, I was just thinking about the Orient and Asians. I don't care that you're multicultural. If you're all for war, I don't care about your multicultural, right? See, here's the thing. If America had done what it should have done 200 years ago and fixed this shit, you wouldn't have people showing up here perpetually using race to get elected or to get somebody elected or to get you to go out and vote for somebody while nothing ever happens. Whew, the sun has set. It is 7 p.m. It is dark in here. The days are not playing. I don't really want to close that shade, but we're going to keep it open. While House officials emphasize executive action in the Biden administration. So, but here's the thing about I've got all sorts of problems with this article. Obviously, I'm not even getting through paragraphs. The thing about executive action is you have to do it because the president says so. Once the president says so, it's not law and it falls away. So if I say it's executive action that every arrest has to be a song, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, you're going to jail, right? Has to be a song. So the next person comes in, that's not the law. It goes away. Now you have to tap dance or whatever he wants you to do. It's so bad. Executive action. The Biden administration has taken. What is in my pocket? Oh boy, I forgot about that. The White House officials emphasized executive action in the Biden administration. Like the executive action. Oh man, ooh, I should probably get some coffee. All right, you can do this. It's reading. You've been doing it for at least 3 weeks. All right. The Biden administration has taken. White House officials emphasized executive actions the Biden administration has taken, such as the Justice Department limiting the use of chokeholds by agents and stepping up scrutiny of GOP voting laws. You're limiting chokeholds? Chokeholds are supposed to be banned, you dumb fuck. Who wrote this? Who wrote this article? This is a very favorable article of bullshit. Sean Sullivan and Tyler Pager. Huh. Interesting. You also have to watch the people who write these stories are also pro bullshit. So this should be a scathing rebuke of what the problem is because you're the press, and it's not. It's sort of a slow pitch, not even a slow pitch. It's not that bad kind of thing. You got to sort of report on it, but yeah, it's not as bad as all that. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. It is bad. You're bleeding. I mean, oh Lord. All right. So All right. White House officials are scrambling to repair the damage done by black leaders. Biden Democratic nomination in the White House last year, and they are expected to play a crucial role in next year's midterm election. One outrage among leaders by Biden reached new heights this week, creating fissures with potentially far-reaching implications. Biden's deportation of Haitians seeking asylum at the southern border, while images and videos of white border patrol agents grabbing the shine that then went viral to sharp rebuke from supported black allies. The official collapse of police negotiations on Capitol Hill this week also all but extinguished them hopes of ushering in the new laws for the year after George Floyd was murdered by Minneapolis police officers, and lingering uncertainty over the fate of the long shot push to expand voting rights has created growing anxiety about future elections. Yeah, growing anxiety. Why am I going to come out and vote for you fuck sticks? Because you want me to? Yeah, I got other shit to do. And that's not what you want. So, yeah. He said on election night, Black America, you have my back and I have U.S. civil rights. I have U.S. civil rights activist Al Sharpton said Thursday, we're being stabbed in the back. Right? Of course, Sharpton would visit the border, who visited. Why did Sharpton go visit the border? Sharpton visited the border area on Thursday and say he's in touch with administrative. Why is this is the shit that I'm talking about? Said Biden's faces a defining one in which he could rise to the occasion and let down those that helped get you there. Like many black leaders, he is calling on Biden to stop deporting Haitian migrants under public health order and urge the Senate to work around the filibuster to pass voting laws. Biden has won plaudits, of course, for historic investment to combat poverty in African American communities through a sweeping pandemic relief bill. It's a pandemic relief bill, first of all. It has been praised for staffing a diverse government. Again, it's just because you have the same mindset does not mean you're diverse. White House officials emphasize executive actions, and again, executive action are not laws. You need laws. Biden administration taken, such as Justice Department, limiting the use of chokeholds, limiting and stepping up scrutiny. I mean, you didn't have doing just because what stepping up scrutiny, just looking harder at GOP voting, stepping up scrutiny. You're not doing anything. We have done number of things specifically geared. We have done a number of things specifically geared at the African American community, said Cedric L. Richmond, director of the White House Office of Public Engagement. This sounds like one of these. Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, all right. I instantly don't trust you. Richmond pinned blame on Congress for legislative inaction on police reform and said that he will continue to listen to concerns from your giant house. He will continue to listen to concerns from activists. They have their role. What is their role? This is this dead political talk I'm talking about. Their role is to push and push as hard as they can, and our role is to govern. He added. What is that? Wow. I mean, even the bullshit like empty word, namby bamby, mush mouth talk of politicians has made me super angry at all of them. I mean, people are dying because you are ineffective, but you're gonna still pad your pay, right? You're gonna cover for your drug addict kid who looks to a lot of people to be like he fuck with traitors. Hey, hooah, hooah, hooah. All right, we've been streaming for 35 minutes. Let's see if we can go another 20. They have their roles in the houses of government, yeah. But the Biden administration has given no indication it's preparing to stop invoking the health order known as Title 42 to expel many migrants arriving at the border during the pandemic. The Trump administration used the provision, prompting many Democrats to complain that Biden is following in his footsteps. Oh, that's so sad. And Biden has stopped short of publicly endorsing a change to Senate rules that would allow Democrats to pass voting rights legislation without meeting the 60 vote threshold for most legislation. A group of Democrat senators introduced a pared down voting rights campaign finance and government ethics bill. I didn't hear about the government ethics bill. I would love to hear that. but it remains far from certain it will garner support needed to win. All right, black people, just hang out and die a little longer while we get rich and talk about it for a while. Since there's a growing animosity, White House officials, including Richmond, hosted members of Congressional Black Caucus for a meeting on Wednesday and spoke with more than a dozen civil rights leaders and immigrant activists on Thursday. Disagreements were aired. Disagreements were aired in Thursday's discussion, according to White House officials, and conversation was frank. When it did not prompt a deportation policy change, the officials said it enabled the White House to detail its efforts on the border, which included setting up climate-controlled medical tents for migrants and distributing food and water. NAACP President Derek Johnson, don't know who the hell that is, who has excoriated the Biden administration over his handling of the situation on the border earlier in the week, and demanded a meeting called Thursday's conversation productive in general, but he declined to elaborate. Another loser. While meetings won Biden some goodwill, it's a meeting. He didn't do anything. So he invited people who were going to act outraged and then leave the meeting going, "Wow, he's great," and that's part of the game too. All right. Okay. While the meeting won Biden some goodwill from some bullshit artists, black leaders, the White House continued to face a man that is relaxed its immigration policy. The issue of race has surfaced in the current debate in a way that it has not during previous crises at the border, because the majority of Haitians are black. The majority, I would say all of them are black. Black leaders have condemned the behavior of the border agents in the photo. I agree with that. And the videos that went viral this week that showed some on horseback grabbing and yelling, and black migrants. Black leaders have condemned the behavior of border agents in photos and videos that went viral this week that showed some on horseback grabbing and yelling and black migrants. Okay. Many say it reminds them of images from darker days in the country's history. The only time I've seen that historically is under Jim Crow. You have not seen that under Jim Crow. And when black slaves were running away and the slave masters were chasing them, said New York State Assemblywoman Michelle Solange, the first person of Haitian descent to be elected into her state's legislature. Solange, a Democrat, also called Biden on loosening his immigration policy. So you're here, the fifth columnist, let as many Haitians in as you possibly can. Hey, it's been done before with other groups, so why not? Is anybody just American anymore in this fucking country? The White House has criticized the rough behavior of border agents and the department. So you just criticized it. You went, "Hey, I see that," and that's all you did, really, essentially. I see that. That's true, but nobody got fired. Nobody got anything. Why? And until the press goes away, desk duty until the press leaves. The White House criticized the rough behavior of border agent, and the Department of Homeland Security has opened an investigation into the matter. The administration has also directed U.S. border officials to suspend horse patrols in the migrant camp in Del Rio, Texas. Until Friday, Biden had said little publicly about the matter, leaving it to his administration officials to put the public face of the government's response. White House Press Secretary Jim Psaki said Biden believes the images are horrific. But she and other officials have defended the continued use of Title 42 to deport many migrants, noting that the provision applies to people arriving at the border from other countries, not just Haiti. On Tuesday, the White House was preparing to nearly double the number of Haitians being deported to the Caribbean nation from Texas. Yeah, they should. Our policy process has continued to be the same with the Haitians as it is with anybody coming through irregular migration across our border. Okay. Psaki said on Thursday, White House officials also emphasized that they extended temporary protection status to Haitians lacking legal status to arrive in the United States to July 29th. Before July 29th. I'm about to say till July 29th. Three more paragraphs. Do we want to read them? Because this sounds like bullshit. Now we're just going to get into politicians and their 1-2 take on this. July 29th. All right. Yeah, here now we get into the juicy racist bullshit. All right, here we go. All of this has done little to quell the anger that many black leaders feel. This might be where it gets good. All this has done little to quell the anger from many black leaders. I need to learn how to read. All this has done little to quell the anger that many black leaders feel. For starters, they say Biden ought to speak out himself. Yes, which Biden did on Friday after what 10 days. I think it's incumbent upon him to step forward and say something and be as vocal now as he was when he was running, says Sheila Higgins, a Democratic National Committee member from North Carolina. Biden denounced the behavior of border agents to see people treated like that, like they did, horses nearly running them over and people being trapped. It's outrageous, he said. It's dangerous. It's wrong. Way to go out on a limb there, Joe. As a candidate, Biden proposed sweeping action to address racial inequality and vowed to chart a new course on immigration, turning the page on President Donald Trump's restrictive policies. While he had delivered on these promises in some respects, black leaders see a lot of ground left unmet. He did a lot for other people. He didn't do shit for black people. But again, why would you be surprised? He was an anti-black person for 50 years. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Oh, this cold water in my stomach now is also messing with me. There are too many issues you can point to. You're just not delivering, said Huggins. She credited Biden for tackling the pandemic, but added, my expectations are so much higher. The expectations for black voters across the country, we have just expected a lot more. Yeah, well, you don't follow politics because you shouldn't expect anything from them. Many black leaders have been disappointed by the lack of movement to spur police officers to treat people of color better. Exactly. In the wake of national reckoning over police violence and racism, talks between congressional Republicans and Democrats fell apart this week. Biden vowed to continue trying to find a way to make progress and blame Republicans for their resistance. So you're not going to do anything, you're just going to blame. Then you come back in 2 years and go, oh, they're going to be mean to you if you don't keep me here. And I'm just going to stay home and play whatever the fuck I'm going to be playing because he is ridiculous. He has always been ridiculous. Beyond policy prescriptions, Biden, as a candidate, sought a clear rhetorical contrast with Trump on the issue of race. He forcefully denounced Trump for having fanned the flame of white supremacy. Traveled to Houston ahead of Floyd's funeral to meet his family in his hometown. He selected a black and Asian woman to serve as his running mate. I'm not even going to say it. All right. Biden's deep connection to black leaders combined with ambition to plan to root out systematic inequalities helped him win both the Democratic primary and the general election. That's not how I remember that whole thing going down, but all right. With overwhelming support from black voters, a fact he made clear on the night he won the presidency. But black people always overwhelmingly vote Democrat. People are acting like he won some new thing, right? We always voted Democrat. We voted super ridiculous for Obama. We did not vote for Hillary Clinton, right? But well, that's not true. We did vote for Hillary Clinton, but the percentages was down because people didn't care. So instead of getting 95% or whatever like Obama got, she got like 88. And they're still talking shit about the black vote. Oh my God. Overwhelming support from black voters. The fact he made clear on the night he won the presidency. Yeah, he shouted us out and then forgot about us, especially the moment when his campaign was at its lowest ebb. The African American community stood up again for me, he said in Wilmington, Delaware. You always had my back. Oh, fuck you. And I have yours. Yeah, you're a liar. As Biden prepared to assume the presidency, he identified racial justice along with pandemic, the economy, and climate change. All four things he's done nothing about as one of the four historic crises the country was facing. He promised once again to make the issue a priority of his administration. Rep. Mondaire Jones, said Biden administration has done miserably in addressing racial justice, while Jones lauded the White House. How can you say one thing and then say, while Jones lauded the White House efforts on tackling the pandemic and disproportionate impact on communities of color. He said Biden had failed to take aggressive action to address key issues, including voting rights, police reform, and immigration. First of all, why is immigration a thing that black people care about? It isn't. It fucking isn't. We're all here. Who are we trying to get to immigrate here? Africans from Africa? No. Africans from England? No. Africans from the Caribbean? No. Why is this here? Because you'll go, this is the way it works. Hey, I want what do you want? And I'll go, okay, I want a hamburger, a slice of pizza, and a hot dog, right? And they'll come back and go, here's your water, a candy bar, and a bag of potato chips. And you're like, what the fuck is this? And they're like, this is what I got for you. Take it and be happy. You're like, no, so it's never what you want. It's always what they'll give you. And this is where we are. And then they have all these black folks that come out and tell whatever group they're trying to talk to. They have black people talk to black people, obviously. Whatever group they're trying to talk to about, they have a group who plays the people who are anti, and then they'll come out and go, oh, he won us over. And they have the group to come and rah you. Right? The people who are anti him never come out of that meeting and go, he fucking sucks, he's full of shit. They're always happy to be there afterwards. One of the nicest things in the world is cold water. I'll say it before and I'll say it again. Let's see if we can lower this shade. There you go. All right. While Jones lauded White House effort to tackle the pandemic and its disproportionate impact on communities of color, he said Biden had failed to take aggressive action to address key issues, voting rights, police reform, and immigration. I don't care how many black people you have in the cabinet or on your staff, he said, if you're not doing what requires to advance legislation and executive action that will put us on a path toward racial justice, you are not doing what you said you would do when you ran for president. Okay, that's fairly harsh and right. Jones, who was elected in 2020, said this week was the angriest he's seen his colleagues in Congressional Black Caucus. Please, because of the treatment of Haitian migrants at the border who were fleeing political violence and a devastating earthquake. Cliff Albright, the co-founder and executive director of Black Voters Matter Fund. Oh, look, they're raising money. Echoed Jones's concerns, saying black leaders and voters have been infuriated with Biden administration this week because the treatment of migrants at the border falls directly under his purview. Okay. This is one that falls squarely within the executive branch, he said. This is his border patrol. It's not Trump's border patrol. It's not Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell's border patrol. Some black leaders voiced support for Biden, say he inherited dire situations from Trump. That it's always inheriting from somebody. Trump, they all fucked up. They all should have done something about the border with a unified step as presidents, and they don't. They don't care. Some black leaders voiced support for Biden, saying he inherited a dire situation from Trump that he's still trying to dig the country out of 8 months into his presidency. Yeah, okay. It's amazing how well America ran before Trump showed up. I've never seen the president disengage or the vice president disengage on issues of crisis dealing with the black community, said Rep. Sheila Jackson. She's a fucking joke. They've been there 8 months. Yeah, she's useless. She's been there too long. She's fucking useless. All right. They've been there 8 months. Disengage. He's asleep all the time. Who participated in a meeting with the White House officials on Wednesday about the situation in Del Rio. By the way, what is her claim to fame? What has she done for the American people to sit there for 30 years from Texas? Nothing. Nothing. So yeah, the people in Congress, the black people in Congress, don't do shit for black people either. So let's not completely fucking grandstand here about it. The frustration that spilled out into the open this week has been building for months, according to Albright. The lack of action to address what Biden deemed a racial justice crisis, Albright said would have would have an impact on Democrats' political future. I agree with that because I don't care and I'm not doing it. And I think you all are full of shit. And you need my vote. Every single vote counts, right? In the midterms, Democrats are defending narrow congressional margins that run through states like Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, where black voter turnout will be key. So Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. First midterms have historically been bad for the party of the president, and Democrats can ill afford to have many black voters who tend to vote strongly Democratic sit out the election. This could be a deal breaker for a lot of minorities, not just Haitians, said Florida State Senator Chevron D. Jones. Chevron? Okay. Speaking of Biden handling of the border situation, he recalled a conversation with a strong Democrat who suggested black people will start questioning where we stand. Well, yeah, I've been saying that for about 20 years now, and they're finally beginning to do it. So, well, but I've also been saying people go, fuck your law and order and start shooting at the cops because fuck you. Right. And the idea behind that isn't we're gonna take over the country or the government or start it becomes a tit for tat, I hate you thing. I can't live here, I can't breathe here, fuck you. And then once everybody gets that kind of energy about the place, that's the last thing you want. That's really the last thing you want. Democrats are already contending with their headwinds, such as Biden's declining approval rating and his struggle with independent voters. Biden has also had to deal with surprise controversies, such as the resignation of Special Envoy for Haiti, who quit Thursday in protest of the administration's deportation policy. Many Democrats have pointed out the danger associated with returning Haitians. The Democrats have pointed out dangers associated with returning Haitians to a country that has descended into turmoil. First of all, so what? Everybody who gets here stays? You can't send them back to their home country. What, you're going to send them to France? You have to send them back. You know, this is that whole pimping you for your emotional content that I'm always talking about, right? If you think about this logically, where else would you send them since they can't stay here? Or you don't have an immigration policy. Everybody can stay is your immigration policy. The dangers of sending them return to Haiti. Yeah, but you can't stay here. Send them to Canada. Let them stay in Mexico. They're living in Mexico. They're in Mexico now. They came through Mexico. Let them stay in Mexico. Why is Mexico not, getting hot about it? Why aren't you talking to them? I mean, there are options that I see as a person who thinks politically but isn't connected to anybody. I'm sure if I said fucking make the Mexicans not let them come through their country like Trump was talking about, and say I'm not going to give you any aid or whatever, what happens then? You know what happens? People who own stocks in some of these places who work in government, they don't want that because now their stocks are taking a hit. It's the whole situation is scuzzy, and the bad guys are in government, and they should be taken out of government. And that whole thing always gets dirty and bloody and ridiculous. So yeah, you better hope that they're all 100 years old and will naturally kick off and have a new class of politician arise and do the right thing. But I don't see that happening. I just think it's going to get worse and worse and worse until the bottom fucking falls out. Many Democrats have pointed out the danger associated with returning to Haiti to Haitians to a country that descended into turmoil. For Black leaders, such consideration should not be divorced from Biden's vow to foster more equity in the United States. It shouldn't be separate from helping Black people here. Why shouldn't it be? You're just this is what I hate. Any brown face goes into the minority pile, right? That's not. I don't do this for everybody. I do this for me and my people and the heritage of it. I'm not out here trying to make it a fair day for Guatemalans. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they're doing. Oh, we like all of y'all in this box. as we do nothing for you. That way we can talk more about what other people have going on, then deal with the age old problem of why there are marches in the first place. And I said before, if you were to fix this in the 1700s or whatever, when this whole thing ended, slavery ended, people wouldn't be able to come here straight from Haiti and talk about how they have rights, right? Because all of this builds on black racial tensions and guilt of what America was, or still is, quite frankly. But they can sit up and go, "Oh, you guys are racist. You treat me bad. I'm Haitian." What? No, you're a foreigner. We're treating you like a foreigner. We're gonna treat them bad because they're black and they're, you know what? At least get your situation correct. But it doesn't. Nothing means anything. Everything can mean anything you say it means as you pull it out of your hat, and that's the problem. What what does any of this shit mean, right? What does it mean to be black in America? Does it mean that any brown face from anywhere in the world is black? Is that what that means? What does it mean to be American? Anybody who can get here is an American? Is that what that means? All right. Many Democrats have pointed out the danger of searching. Okay, for black leaders, such consideration should not be divorced. All right. The administration elevated the pursuit of racial equality, racial equity as a commitment and a moral imperative, said Nan Ghaemfi, the executive director of Black Alliance. Who are these groups? They just put black political groups to make money. It sounds like it. What is the Black Alliance? Executive director, Black Alliance for Just Immigrants. Black Alliance for Just Immigration. Speaking at a Wednesday news conference, they'll just show up and speak at news conferences, give speeches. However, the racial equity has not extended itself to the areas of immigration. Why would they? The slaves did not care about racial equity, not racial equity, about immigration. Sean Sullivan covers natural policy for the Washington Post with focus on 2020 presidential campaign. Tyler Pager is the White House correspondent for the Washington Post. He joined the paper in 2021 after joining the White House for Politico in 2020. Yeah. So he went from Politico to here. So even the reporters begin to be this Russian nesting doll of kind of bullshit. They all know each other and work together and do the same nonsense. Black leaders are not happy with you. With you, Joe Biden. June 19th. Black leaders are outraged by Trump's planned rally in Tulsa. Okay, that is it. See, because they would have it would have made the news. So and so has been fired. This is outrageous. We zero tolerance for that. He's gone. No, nope. They'll talk about it. They'll go out on that political limb and say that how outraged they are about the badness and the this, that, and the other thing, and then they won't do anything about it. You have a 50-50 split, and your vice president is supposed to be the tiebreaker, but you have Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, who are essentially at this point Republicans, like sticking their finger in your craw. So now it looks like it's 50 to 52. No, it looks like it's 48 to 52. And it looks like 50 minus 2 to 50 plus 2, which is 50 Dems and 50 Republicans. But the Dems have a minus 2 because of because of Sinema and Manchin, and they're going to vote Republican. And I think that's what they're there for. Oh, R. Kelly. I believe I can fly. U.S. pandemic fraud crackdown used first case against bank employees. I gotta tell you, I hate to be rude about it, but I'm already tired of hearing about this Gabby Petito lady. I mean, I'm sorry that she met a dark and tragic end, but it's sad. It really is. But conflict. Some people are conflict driven. Some people like dangerous nonsense and bullshit in their personal dealio, right? Um, I don't understand people who like to perpetually fight in their relationships. I don't understand it. Like, I'm not gonna fight you. I'm just gonna leave. I'm gonna find somebody else. I'm gonna try and be happy with them. I'm not gonna fight them either. But some people like to fight, right? They go back and forth, and maybe they think the fighting is a passion in their relationship. Why robots can't sew your T-shirts? Man, it's funny. I haven't actually watched a White House press briefing since Biden got elected. Florida outdoorsman Carlton Reserve expert says no chance Brian Laundrie is in the swamp. Why would there be no chance he's in the swamp? Why couldn't he be in the swamp and then got eaten by a bear or something? A white supremacist is organizing fight clubs across the U.S. Okay, here's the problem with that. Who's he fighting? Other white guys, or he wants to fight black guys? I mean, it's just opens itself up to all kind of stupidness. Burned out and restless from pandemic, women redefine their careers and ambitions. Why just women? Why not men too? I'm not a fan of all this new sexist nonsense that I'm always hearing. It's always, it's all, it's just everybody's retreating into camps. We're a more segregated society. Taliban publicly displays bodies of alleged kidnappers. They're just killing people, hanging them from cranes, and then saying, "Yeah, God told us to kill these people." Ugh. Who's in bed with them? The Russians and the fucking Chinese. Hmm. Wow. There's not much else. Really is not much else. It's all Netflix unleashes a slick and jazzy intro for its live action Cowboy Bebop. As someone who loves cartoons and grew up collecting comic books and reading graphic novels, I've never got into Cowboy Bebop. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle tapping New York City trip for Netflix documentary. You know what? How come he gets to stay here? If we've got an immigration thing, why don't we send him home? I'm I'm so incredibly tired of those two. At this point, they're always crying and expecting your attention after complaining not wanting all this attention from the British. There's a fair amount of racism in their press, right? But there's not the same amount of racism in our press. Our racism is more defined, and they can live here and be worshipped in a giant house in the California sunshine versus the rainy moors of Scotland, I guess, or wherever they were going to be after they were thrown outside of England proper, like London and shit. And now they're here just being fucking obnoxious. Oh, tonight is the Eagles and the Cowboys. See on ESPN, right? Because I don't have ESPN. But I also don't like that they took. I watched a lot of football yesterday. I started watching football as soon as we got off. I think we got off at like 12:10. I watched the lead ups. Then I uh, watched half of both games on CBS and Fox, and then CBS went to bull riding, right? So then I just watched Fox, and then when that was off, I went to uh, Monday Night Football. But by then, I was really beginning to lose it. I think I passed out yesterday somewhere around 6. I even missed. I was asleep before The Simpsons came on. I'm telling you, man, the hours I'm keeping now, I'm beginning to feel really old because I haven't watched The Simpsons in a while either, and they come on early. So yeah, no football. But I caught the trail end of the Chiefs losing, right? So now they're 1-2. Uh, I think the Giants are 0-2. Excuse me. Is are there is there a game tonight on broadcast television? Tonight, 8:15, NFL. What is this on? Watch live. Game preview. What is this? This is yesterday. This is yesterday. Sunday, October 3rd. All right. Thursday. Oh, this one's this today. The Eagles and the Cowboys. Where are they playing? Watch live. ESPN, 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 NFL free. What? Yeah, subscription. NFL is free. Huh. I'm gonna have to look into that. Since I'm old, did I get the blue plate special? Every time I can, baby. I go in there with my walker. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's uh it's a thing. Aging is a thing. Huh. But it's well, I don't I've always slept I've always kept weird sleeping hours anyway, so I guess that's normal. It's just making sure that I'm here at 6:30 every night and then trying not to stay up all night, which I like to do. Uh and on the weekend shows, uh it's tricky because I'm like, all right, 6:30, and then I'll sort of stay up, like try and stay up to catch Saturday Night Live or whatever. And I don't make it, or if I do, then I'm up to 3, and then it shows at 7:30 a.m. The game's at Dallas. Are the Eagles any good? Yeah, oh boy. Trump supporters are calling for more orders after Arizona proved Biden won the election again. I mean, this is not good that people, even if it's a small group of knuckleheads who don't it's not good, because next year it'll be a little bigger and a little bigger, and you'll laugh at them. Then they go underground, and then in 10 years they'll be here calling themselves a Trumpeteers or some shit, and you'll have a violent morons who you can't talk to. And mind you, they've always been violent. It's not like they're not willing to be violent. Uh, you know that the Black history, right, of violence. And you could also look at people were blowing up abortion clinics and being violent. They're killing doctors, shooting, right? So, I mean, it's not like these people won't be violent. And they've been around forever doing this, and no one cared. And now all of a sudden they rush January 6th, and everybody's like, we really need to look into these people. I'm like, why didn't you look into before? Because you were too busy with your hand in the till being ridiculous. Full list of Representative who voted against funding Israel Iron Dome. Why are we funding Israel's Iron Dome? And now you got to give a full list as a, you know, you're giving people lists of people who didn't vote for it. Maybe the people who voted for it should be looked into. The Eagles and the Cowboys are both 1-1. When the second season? They only played one game. Oh no, that's 2 games. 1-1. I'm sorry. Oh boy, math is not my 1-1. All right. Uh, Left behind in Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. Here's a story of how one interpreter and his family escaped en route to Canada. I'm glad you got out. I'm pissed about speaks out after police identify her missing son's body. Wait, why are you pissed? The police identified your missing son's body. I'm not even going to look at it because it sounds stupid. The American dream, the America I dreamed of does not build over dead people or mass graves. Families of suicide victims speak out. Here's the thing about this. I know this is an unpopular opinion, but you can't keep having all this sacred land when people die there, right? Just because, not only because, as you eventually, people go on and tragedies don't stop. The whole place will be a fucking funeral parlor. Not just, I mean, it'll look dismal. People will be depressed, perpetually walking by. It's one thing to see somebody, a hero, right, and you can play in the park and he's up on a, but you should keep the memorials to a minimum. And we're becoming one of these memorial societies. Sunnyside or Rest Haven. Which one? Sunnyside sounds like a farm. Rest Haven sounds like a place that they put you down. Like Rest Haven sounds like a place that you send people to, they don't come back. Rest Haven sounds like I took my dog to the upstate. Well, in New York, we say upstate, which is essentially meant that your dog is gone. Rainbow Bridge type stuff. Why are we giving Israel money? I said before, and I said again, we are always oil hits highest in almost 3 years as supply tightens. I also hear that England is running out of gasoline, right? Because England is running out of, don't they call it petrol? UK petrol runs out. UK puts military tanker drivers on fuel delivery standby as a precaution. British Army tank drivers will be brought to a state of readiness to be deployed if required to deliver fuel, the UK government announced on Monday. A standby of tanker drivers would ease supply chain pressures and spikes in local demand for fuel, the government said in a statement. The military. Wow. This is the problem with Europe, right? This is one thing that Trump said that was real. Let's hope so. This rickety old bus is falling apart. Let's hope so. So this is part of what Trump said about Germany that was really really spot on, and people tried to ignore it. They were talking about our allies, and Trump had first of all, Trump views China as our enemy, right? And the World Health Organization, where everybody's part of it, they will give them stuff, and China will essentially take it and steal it, right? Talking about, hey, we're all, but China takes and doesn't really give. So he's like, this is why he pulled us out of the some of these the World Health Organization's uh, after after COVID, right? Because they wouldn't, the Chinese weren't cooperating. They were kind of like, "Fuck you, we'll do whatever we want." So Trump was not wrong there. Then, when this whole thing was going on about, well, there's a famous picture of him sitting at the table and all the world leaders are around him like this, and he's like, "Whatever." Uh, he said about Germany, he was like, essentially, how much can you be trusted? You get all your oil supplies from the Russians. So if there was a war, the first thing that happened is they're not going to give you oil. They're going to cut it off, and you're instantly compromised by your association with. But then again, I mean, you may say it's nothing, it's money, but we owe China a lot of fucking money, right? And China wants to buy American companies, we won't let them. We made them rich, and now they use that money to run around. People are talking about Germany being, if America steps away from the world stage, Germany could step in. Fucking let them, right? Germany has a really shitty global record. Uh, but I mean, the politicians say, yeah, everything's fine. We got these are our allies. Why they are? Because we said they're our allies. And you hear me talking. I've got issues with the British, right? I've got issues with the Germans. I mean, their culture is racist as fuck. I didn't say it, right? They had two giant racial wars, right? The Japanese are a sketchy group as well. Um, Dog the Bounty Hunter went up and knocked on Laundrie's door. No answer. Wow. You know what I got to say? That right there, that's some good police work. So he just showed up there, knock, knock. Is he here? No, he's not. All right, thank you. And then went home. Yeah, that right there is solid. Solid, solid police work. Oh my gosh. So between Dog the Bounty Hunter and the guy from America's Most Wanted, they're gonna have this guy in like the next 15 minutes. I thought he walked out into the swamp and got eaten by crocodiles, which is a way to go, right? It is a way to go. But that doesn't, I don't know. That is a way of going. He doesn't, I don't know a lot about him, but if he chose that way to go out, that says a lot. I don't think he did though. John Walsh. Yeah. I wonder well, the one guy said he wasn't in the swamp. His name is Laundry or Landry. RIE, right? Women who drove hitching Brian Laundry noticed nothing extraordinary. He was hitchhiking. So search resumes for Brian Landry. Neighbor surrounds his home. Okay. Now this it's not about him or her. Now it gets to be a thing in the town or the neighborhood, right? I bet if you looked in the police reports, how many women were missing that town, it'd be a couple. The FBI is going to take over. Police ask for personal items. Search for Brian Landy will be scaled back. Yeah, because you can't look for everybody forever with all the manpower, right? It comes down, and then you just kind of keep an eye out. You put one or two cops to become the cold case, and then if his bank account triggers or you get a hit on him over here, and then you see if you can creep up and tap him on the shoulder in the lobby of the hotel he's in or the campsite he's at or the homeless corner he's begging on, trying not to be noticed. And then, you can have two guys pick him up. But in this fresh sort of environment, and I say fresh because it's not like very old, you because searches cost money, right? All the dogs, all the cats, helicopters, and drones, and people in not speedboats, people in those fan boats, right? People dredging waters, and this happened in two cities, right? They're looking for him in one place, but they had to do the same thing and look for her in another place. Yeah. A concert flowers for Gabby Patino's makeshift memorial left at the Langley house. are gonna be thrown away. Yeah, what, you gonna keep them forever? People are fucking crazy. They really are. Okay, they left their home with the police. You make it sound like they were running away. Um, yeah, what do you do? Two young lives ruined. Uh, all right, well, sad, 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 sad. But as always, people will pay a price. You're not going to get away with this kind of goofy shit. Open murder in public. What is wrong with people? Again, if I like you and you're an asshole, I don't like you anymore. I don't get how people stay with assholes, right? It's like, oh, I don't like him. I'm just with him because, or her because. Well, if you don't like him, you can leave. Oh, but I like him. I like him, but he treats you badly. I know, but wait, what? You know, then I don't even know what, I don't know what to make of it. The environment seems to be really weird, really, really weird. All right, guys. I guess this is where we're gonna leave it. Uh, yeah, I was gonna go on a little longer, but I'm not really feeling great. Actually, we did the whole show today, which is good. We've been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes. Excuse me. We've been streaming for an hour and 22 minutes. Yeah, it's an early night. 5 minutes before. But here's the thing. I didn't feel well, and I said we were going to do about 20 minutes. We did the whole show, so I feel like we kept our head and stayed in the game. Right, we're going to be here every day for 1,000 days, uh, and we were talking about taking a day off. I think Thanksgiving might be Christmas, one of those two. So we're trying to plot which ones. Um, Other than that, we're going to be here every day. Remember, please like and subscribe. We are here every day, 6:30, Monday through Saturday, and Sunday we do a 7:30 a.m. show. Although I think that might move to 8:30. We'll figure it out. We'll let you know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming through, William. Uh, you have a good night too, man. Um, please come through. Have a good night. It's Monday. Monday Night Football should be coming on in about, I want to say, a half an hour. Uh, and that's probably where I will veg out. What's the temperature outside? It's nice out. It was cold this morning. I wore a long sleeve shirt, and then it got super hot. What's the weather tonight?
The weather's looking good tonight. Up to 72 degrees.
Up to 72 degrees. Yeah, it's gonna be cold tonight. All right. I mean, this might be the first night I cut on the heat. Um, it tells you, man, the seasons change. It's a good thing. I'm smiling because I'm thinking of like orange and red and yellow leaves and like Halloween candy and all this stuff. That's about 6 weeks away. Not even 6 weeks away. It's about a month and 3 days away, quite frankly. Uh, and Halloween always is the first thing that gets you into like the fun of the season. Uh, Horror movies come out, trick or treating, right? Then you get prepared after that. Thanksgiving is close by, family. I'm remembering this from the Northeast, right? Cold winter coat, snippy noses, mittens, right? Then you go see family members, and then shortly after that, there's Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, there's Christmas, and it's even more good eats, and there's toys, right? It's like what? Uh, and then you get old enough to go out by yourself on not Halloween, on Thanksgiving, on New Year's. So all, I mean, this whole September season, September, October, November, uh, puts a smile on my face, right? So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, men and women, cups and glasses. I will see you in the next one. Cups and glasses. That's pretty good, right? Trees and bushes, forks and spoons, cups and glasses. I will see you in the next one. Please be here. And the next one is tomorrow, 6:30. Have a good night. Mwah.